And welcome back to another week of the Office Dynasty League podcast. I'm John Yaney, and I'm here with my co-host, Mac White. Mac, how you doing?
I am good. I'm ready to bounce back after last week's pod. We heard your criticism, and I believe we are going to respond accordingly. So hopefully,
Yeah,
you guys like it better this week.
yeah. On a more somber note, death threats are never appropriate to your
Yeah,
team being
I can't
maybe
believe
not
what
talked about favorably.
I mean. I saw some of the DMs from some of our listeners. I was appalled
Yeah,
by the aggression and hostility
yeah.
about last week's pod.
I don't know who got my address. I definitely don't know who got my son's school address, but that's just not appropriate.
That's public, John. That is public.
Well,
The school address.
yeah, his middle name isn't. But yeah, just keep it chill. If you don't like the pod, say it to my face, you cowards. All right. Jumping in this week, I think we have some fun stuff to go over. Uh, Mac, I think you wanted to talk to everyone about maybe a little bit of history.
I don't know. We haven't really done a mailbag episode yet. Maybe that'd be fun if we get enough input from league listeners if they have questions. But this is the closest thing we've had to a mailbag episode so far, in the sense that this is an idea submitted by our very own Caleb Trowbridge. This was an
Caleb.
idea for him to. This was his idea, and his idea was to go through the history of the ODL and identify an MVP from each owner's MVP all time. So I went into I went into the league history, I went into the rosters by year and identified, yeah, each owner's player that has contributed the most to their success. So a few caveats here. I put a little more emphasis on seasons in which teams had significant playoff success. So if there's a key player who was a championship, who was a key contributor to your championship team, that had more, weight in my decision than somebody maybe who was on your team for 2 or 3 years, but your team was bad during that time. Um, but before I go into these, John, do you like, as I go by team, do you want to like give your maybe just I did some research. I know you haven't done much research, but do you want to try to give like a off the cuff guess for each one, or do you just want me to jump into it?
Give it a shot. I just want listeners to know I have not looked at the history for anyone. I actually specifically requested that Mac take this one because it would take like a second to actually look through everyone's team, and I have not done that. So if I'm horribly wrong, please give me a little bit of grace.
Sure, sure. And I will be the first to do that, John. Just you're rest assured. All right, so I'm gonna actually we're just gonna start off with Ethan. He's been in the league tied for the shortest, I believe. But do any guesses just right off the cuff who Ethan's MVP was, according to
You
me?
know, if we're weighing in championship success, my first thought is Leonard Fournette.
I did. That is very viable. It is not Leonard Fournette.
Okay, in that case, and this is ironic because I believe he's been traded, but I would say Jonathan Taylor.
It is Jonathan Taylor. So I looked. Jonathan Taylor was on Ethan's team every season of Ethan's career here with the ODL. He traded him this year. Waddle's a nice piece. He got some picks back. So no longer on the meets, but Jonathan Taylor. It was. I think this was by far and away the most obvious one. And actually, we remember Leonard Fournette during that championship run, but Jonathan Taylor was RB1 that year.
Yes.
So I mean, like, kind of hard to argue with that. So yeah, it was Jonathan Taylor. I don't even know who else I would have even considered. Um,
You
just
could talk about
because,
JSN for this year.
yeah, JSN for sure. I mean, JSN's now been on his team 2 years. JSN was pretty good last year. It could be JSN in a year or two, but it's tough to overcome somebody who was your best player on a championship team. So Jonathan
Absolutely.
Taylor for Ethan. Next, I have Will. What do you think? Do you have any guesses for Will? This was a tough one.
I if I were going to do this one, I would probably go more of like James Cook, just because that was an Ethan draft pick that's been, or sorry, a Will draft pick that's been a staple of his team the entire time. Incredibly successful running back. That's who I would go with.
You're right again. You're doing way better than
Woo-hoo!
I would have done. I wouldn't have even known who to guess with Will. Yeah, no, it is James Cook. He's been on Will's roster every season except for the first year Will was in the league. James Cook was also not in the league that year. So I mean, he drafted him. He's been on his team every year. His rookie year wasn't great, but since then he's been a top 10-ish running back. And this year I think he's a top five running back or close to it, and I doubt Will benches him again. That was
No.
rough. But I will say, in Will's defense, I went back and looked, and James Cooks was bad the previous 2 weeks. So it might have been like a prove it week for Will. So, but yeah, I don't think will bench him again. But yeah, I was surprised. I did not realize like yeah how key of a piece that's been for Will. As time will tell if that stays the same. His roster's loaded. If any of these guys stay
Yeah.
on his team longer or bring him multiple titles, it might be someone else. But yeah, definitely James Cook. I went and looked at the first year Will was in the league, and like none of those guys, they were all on his team for like 1 year. I don't
Yeah.
remember how or why, but he completely moved everyone off immediately upon joining the league, it seemed like. So James Cook's kind of the OG, original piece under Will's leadership. So
Yeah. Well, it's only happened 2 times ever, but whenever we've gotten a new owner, like there has been blood in the water in the trade market.
yes, that is yes, 2 for 2 on that for sure. Good thing. I mean, at least Ethan held on to Jonathan Taylor. That was the reason he won a title early on. So
For sure.
next we have Caleb. Any guesses on Caleb?
Caleb and Tyler are the two that I was worried about because those feel like pretty constantly. Like Tyler's definitely more like every third week he's making a trade. But Caleb's like, hey, within a 3 week span, once every year, he just overhauls his entire roster.
Yeah,
It feels
yeah.
like. So it's going to be tough. Like looking at the starting lineup, I don't think any of these guys were on his team to start the year, except for the guy that I'm going to pick, which is Nico Collins.
So it's not Nico, I don't think. Nico is in his second full. I think he's had him for all of 2 seasons. But Nico's
Okay.
been hurt a little bit. To me, it's very clearly Justin Jefferson. Um, Justin Jefferson spent 3 entire seasons on Caleb's team, and they were great. They were great seasons. I think he was a top 10 wide receiver every single year. And then, you know, he's Justin Jefferson. No one's going to be upset about getting Justin Jefferson, but he did get, I think, the single greatest return for any one player, and it's not close. So for Justin Jefferson, so I think he Justin Jefferson was awesome for him, and then he has continued to live off of the return from him. So, yeah, it was Justin Jefferson just because, yeah, he's been on. I think he's the only player who has spent 3 full seasons on Caleb's team that had any sort of consequence. Helping him win. So I think you'd probably agree
Okay.
with that. I think you'd probably agree.
Yeah, I fully can. The problem is, I was the one who originally traded Justin Jefferson to Caleb's team, and then gave him that incredible haul to get him away from Caleb's team. And so I don't overly love thinking about the return I got for Jefferson, followed by what I gave up to get him back.
Sure. Sure. All right. Myself is up next. It's my team. What would you go with for my team?
I don't know if you just heard that giant sneeze or not, but I apologize
They
if you
did.
did.
They definitely did.
Oh boy, I was trying to mute myself in 5 different ways. It wasn't happening. If for you, I'm stuck between Josh Allen and Amon-Ra St. Brown because I think Josh Allen represents just like the general consistency of your team, but Amon-Ra St. Brown represents the fleecing nature of your trades. Like they're just so symbolic for you. I'm going to go with Josh Allen though.
Is Josh Allen felt weird doing a quarterback, but this is insane. This is insane. These are his quarterback finishes for my team.
Okay.
Obviously I'm the only person, only player. Um, sorry, I've no other team has owned Josh Allen in our league. So since I drafted him, he's been QB1, QB1, QB2, QB1, QB2. This year, on a points per game basis, he is QB2.
Okay.
So yeah, it's Josh Allen. It's interesting. Amon-Ra, I've only had him for I think 2.5 years. It's felt longer than that, but he hadn't. I mean, I didn't have him for the first 2 years for sure. And he's been great for sure. I keep saying sure. They're going to count my sures. Um,
Sure.
the only other player I considered was actually CMC. Because CMC was great for so long, and then I felt like turning him into like the future kind of I have to owe that to CMC as well. So CMC was someone I considered, but most of 2 seasons he was on my team, he was hurt, so I really couldn't. It's like he was on my bench and he wasn't helping for a lot, so I didn't feel justified in picking him just because of how useful Josh Allen has been. I actually also considered Kittle. He's just been a mainstay at the tight end position and he's been elite at times. Um, so Kittle was also considered. Um, but yeah, Josh Allen, it's weird picking a quarterback, but I think he's proved it.
All right.
All right, Adrian, up next.
Adrian, again, a lot of weird roster stuff with Adrian. If we're talking about, I think I have an answer. Um, this is tough. It's crazy. There's so many names that have defined this roster, and almost all of them have just been because of huge group chat arguments.
Yep.
Uh, I'm going to go with Kyler Murray.
I thought about Kyler Murray. I went with Bijan. I went with Bijan.
Yeah,
Um, Kyler's been there
fair.
since the beginning. I looked at it like the ODL, the first season in the ODL. Kyler Murray was quarterback two actually, behind Josh Allen. He just has not been great. He's just been very okay. I,
Yeah, I'm always hesitant to criticize any Oklahoma quarterback because, like, when Kyler's healthy, generally the perception of him is he's really good. But I think that might be a lot of fantasy weight pulling
yeah,
for actual real world NFL shortcomings. I'm not sure, but
yeah.
he's just kind of meh as a quarterback.
I guess here's the question, and this is what I asked myself when I was going through Adrian's team. Would you rather have 2.5 seasons of Bijan, or would you rather have 5.5 seasons of Kyler?
2.5 of Bijan easy.
That's kind of where I was at. I'm like, Bijan was
Yeah.
just so good and so elite. And I know we've talked a lot about the return he got for him, but he did, reap the benefits of Bijan for 2 years plus. And now he has some assets that he got from him, much more than he gave up to get him, which was, his first round pick. So
Sure.
yeah, it's Bijan for me. There's just no one else that has been elite really for him. I mean, he had Zeke for a year and a half. He had McLaurin for 2.5 years.
Yeah.
Um, Trey McBride for 2.5 years. But yeah, just no one has been elite in the way that Bijan has. So even though it was shorter time,
Yeah. Did he have Mike Evans
um,
for a while?
he did have Mike Evans. Yeah, he did have Mike Evans in 2 years. Um,
Okay.
yeah. All right. Next is Dallas. This is a tough one. I'd be impressed if you get this one.
Yeah, it's clearly no one on his current roster. I I'm gonna go with Saquon.
Yeah, I did not go Saquon. He just wasn't on his team long enough. I think it was only like a year and a half. It was I didn't go super deep into like how long it was. But Saquon spent a lot of time on Caleb's team. Saquon spent a lot of time on I think Evan's team. I'm getting mixed up, but Saquon's been around. Will's team had Saquon. I mean, I can't get him straight. Um, but
If I'm remembering correctly,
you're
Matt
probably better than
had
me.
Saquon send him to me before he even played a game for me. I sent him to Dallas. Dallas held him until about the trade deadline last year, where we sent him to Caleb. Caleb then just recently sent him to Will.
Okay.
So half the teams in the league have owned Saquon at one point or another, but I
Yeah.
think realistically, I think Dallas was his longest resting spot.
Yeah, I think you're right. I do think though the time that Dallas had him was Saquon's worst
Yes.
fantasy output, just because he was hurt more and the Giants were rough and because he didn't have him. Dallas did not have him for his rookie season. I do not think, which that
No.
was his best year in New York. Um,
Well, no
but
one had him for his
actually,
rookie season.
who did?
No one. He was a 2018 draft pick, and this was a 2020 league
Duh,
start.
you're right. Never mind. Oh man, I'm still shake it off. Shake it off. We're good. No, I actually think this is pretty clear. Which is crazy. It's Joe Mixon. Um,
Really?
yeah, which okay, so Joe Mixon was on Dallas's team for more than 3 years, 3 full seasons. 3 full seasons he was on Dallas's team. He was RB4, RB10, and RB6. And one of those years was the year that Dallas won the title. So like Mixon was on
Compelling
his
case.
team. Mixon was on his team longer than Saquon was, and he was an RB1 every single season that he had him, and he won a title with him. I couldn't find anyone really that like that like exceeded that.
Yeah. Trying to think here. I think Dallas might have had Saquon for 3 full seasons
I just didn't think so unless I missed it. I
because
could have I could have missed it.
we're in year 6 right now. I think it was 2.5. So technically, Nixon was longer.
Yeah. Full disclosure, I went to the league history and I went to teams and I looked at their rosters at the when I looked at their playoff rosters. So like I looked at how many like when the or if they didn't make the playoffs, I looked at their week 14, week 13 rosters. So basically if they were traded mid-season, it wouldn't show up. But I also thought is if they were traded mid-season, then they weren't on their team during the playoff run or during the playoff push. So I believe he was only on his team at the end of the year twice, but
Okay.
I could have totally missed it.
Okay. Okay. Well, that makes sense.
Yeah,
Okay.
well,
Yeah. I mean,
I can,
Mixon's definitely a worthy contender for that number, though, because there's probably a year
yeah,
or two where Saquon was not awesome. And even if he's finishing like RB12, like Mixon's doing better. So
yeah,
I think Mixon's a good answer there.
yeah. I was shocked. I was like, is that really what I'm going with? Is that really? Yeah. So in it's just so we know, in 2020, year one, neither one of those guys were on his team.
Right. He would have
And
been
then in
on Matt's
20,
team for the first 2 years.
yes, in 2021, year two, um, Joe Mixon was on his team and it was RB4,
Okay.
and Saquon was not on his team
Okay.
that
Yeah.
I'm
I
seeing.
mean, he got traded before the 2022 season because
Yeah.
that's when he got all those
So
picks from Matt and then started making terrible trades. And then he had it for 22, 23, and traded him midway through 24. So
yeah,
it depends on when he got rid of him. But no, I mean, regardless, Saquon's insane year with the Eagles was the year that he ended up trading him. So
yep,
it's
exactly.
not
Yeah,
like,
that
yeah,
yeah, and his championship was 2022. Saquon was RB5 that year. So like obviously, big deal. Mixon was RB10. So, and they're very close. So they were, close to equal contributors that year. But the year before, Mixon had that RB4 finish. And then in um, 2023, Saquon was RB13. I imagine he got hurt, and Mixon was RB6. And then at
okay,
the end of the last season, Saquon was not on Dallas's team.
okay,
So yeah,
okay.
that was my thought process. Yeah, Mixon had the extra year where he was elite, and they were both contributors on a championship team. But it
And
is interesting.
entirely good, entirely worthy answer.
All right, so next is Matt.
Okay. Uh, well, Matt had Cup in that crazy year, but he didn't have him very long. Um, Matt, in the time that he's been like stupid, stinking good, his team has been more like Christian McCaffrey for this season. Probably wouldn't be him. It's got to be Puka, right?
Puka, yeah. I mean, there's
Yeah.
kind of there's the before the teardown and after. Before the teardown, none of those guys were on his team more than 2 years. And then after the teardown, most of those guys have not been on his team that long. Puka's 2.5 years in and looks to be like his best player. So or maybe well CMC is, but CMC's got one less year on his team.
Hmm.
And I don't know. I don't be curious what Matt thinks. I mean, CMC's been better this year for sure, but I don't know. Does the fact that you get Puka for a fourth round pick and you trade the farm for CMC, like, does that factor in like how valuable that player has been to your franchise? I feel like it has to. So,
Yeah.
anyway, yeah, it's Puka. Good call. Good call. It's what I came to.
Yeah, it's one of those where I'm thinking through the options and I open his team and I see Puka and I'm like, yeah, it's Puka.
But yeah, I mean, that's the player I feel like you most associate with Matt's team. This is
Yeah.
his guy. All right, it's Tyler. Tyler.
Once again, Caleb and Tyler were the two that I was worried about just because they haven't a lot of shifting that goes on. I mean, looking at a starting roster right now, this is bye weeks and all that, but the guys that he has acquired this year via trade is kind of hilarious.
Yeah.
Jackson Dart, Jonathan Taylor, Vidal, uh, Hunter, Rice, Hawkinson were all acquired in the last calendar year, and that's 6 of his 9 starters right now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say, oh man, I don't even know if I can venture a guess on this. I don't know. I'm best guess is Cortland Sutton. Like he's just been there forever.
Yeah, yeah. He's not in the top four, I don't think.
Okay.
There's four contenders. It's Stephon Diggs. It's definitely Stephon Diggs.
Okay.
Stephon Diggs was on his team for 3 full seasons, which no one else of any consequence has done that. And he was wide receiver 3, wide receiver 7, wide receiver 4 for those 3 full seasons. Um, and one of those seasons was the year Tyler went 11-3.
Okay.
So he had Kelsey for 2 awesome Kelsey years. He had Devontae Adams for 2 awesome Devontae Adams years, and he had Kamara for Kamara's bonkers year, and then one awesome
Yeah.
season. He had all 3 of those guys for 2 full seasons, but he had Diggs an extra season. So I felt like the extra season, and he was top 7 or better all 3 of those years. So kind of weird, but yeah, like Buffalo, Stephon Diggs is I think his best play is his MVP.
That's weird. And yet another guy that before anyone played anything in our inaugural year, I traded for peanuts. It's funny you mentioned it. I actually traded Stephon Diggs to Tyler for Cortland Sutton.
Cortland Sutton, I think if there was an ODL whore, it might
He's
be.
been all over the place.
Like I'm trying to think of maybe Hollywood Brown. I don't know. Pick 14.
Wow. I think it was pick 17.
17? I thought it was 14.
I don't know. We trade our draft pick chart is so ridiculous. Yeah, I wouldn't have even been able to venture a guess. Like if you had said, give me would you rather take $100 right now or $10,000 to guess his Hall of Famer? I would have taken your $100. I'm just like, I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't blame you. It's hard. Definitely the most trading of anyone.
By
It's
a
so
lot.
weird. Like I feel like I trade a lot, and then I just look at like how much more continuity I have than like 4 or 5 teams. It's just crazy. I don't know.
Well, you can
And
trade a lot and have like your consistent guys. Like I feel like
Mhm.
I trade a somewhat good amount, and I still have like year over year, like Lamb and Chase are just not
uh,
moving. Jefferson
yeah,
joining that group, Achan, blah blah blah. Uh,
more
Tyler's just
peripheral
like
moves.
there are no sacred cows for Tyler.
Yeah, it's amazing. We talk about it so much. It's just amazing how all that trading has just turned into a good team, but like he just still does not have a playoff win. It's he's gonna get one this year. I'm
I
going out on one. I think he gets one.
I feel you, brother.
All right, John, you're up. Can you get your own?
It's really funny here. Are we talking about the player that's most synonymous with my team, or the
Oh,
player that has truly been
MVP.
my Hall of Famer? Because
MVP.
if you wanted to be mean, it's Kyle Pitts. Um, but if you want if you want to talk about the actual MVP, it's Jamar Chase.
Yeah. It's actually a closer race than I thought between him and Lamb.
Yeah, they both showed up at the same time.
Yeah, they both showed up at the same time. They're both still on your team. Lamb's just been more hurt. So
Yeah, I think they both have wide receiver one finishes too. Now that I think
do
about it.
both have wide receiver one finishes. Um, the cool thing, well, with Jamar Chase, he's never had a finish later than 11.
Yeah,
So
and he
like
was hurt
at
for like
worst,
7 games that year.
yeah, and he's still got 11. So yeah, that's Jamar Chase. Not a whole
Yeah,
lot of interesting conversation there. I mean, yeah, when you have him for 5 years, 5.5 years, just yeah.
I think we're in year 5 right now because he was a
Oh yeah,
2021
four and a
draft
half
pick.
years. This is year 5. This is
Yeah,
year 5. You are correct. Yep. So 4.5 years.
yeah,
Yep. All
I'll
right.
take it.
The last one's Evan.
Another hard one, but I think if I'm remembering correctly, Derrick Henry was a staple of this team for a long, long time.
I think this is your biggest miss because this is one of the most obvious ones. It is
Whoa,
Tyreek
whoa, whoa,
Hill.
whoa! I was going to ask for another guess.
Oh, I'm sorry. You seem so confident.
I'm sorry too, Mac.
Um, no, it is Tyreek Hill. He had him for 4 full seasons.
It's very obvious now that you mention
And
it.
he was top 6 like every single one of those years, and he won a title with him. Um, yeah, no,
Yeah.
Derrick Henry's kind of been around because Derrick Henry was actually his first 2 seasons was with Dallas's team. So,
Oh,
um,
yeah, it could be. Yeah, I'm definitely way off on that one.
yeah, well,
Yeah, I mean, Hill when he was good was like a banger every week.
yeah, yeah.
So
No, yeah,
not
Tyreek
shocking.
Hill. Yep, no, that
Okay.
was one of the easiest ones. And that's all of them. I'm curious if anyone else, you guys know your teams better than me. I'm curious if you guys disagree or if you have, just different metrics or whatever. Let me know if you feel differently.
Matt, can you run through your 10 picks one more time?
Yeah. So for Ethan, it is Jonathan Taylor. For Will, it is James Cook. For Caleb, it is Justin Jefferson. For myself, it is Josh Allen. For Adrian, it is Bijan Robinson. For Dallas, it is Joe Mixon. For Matt, it is Puka Nakua, or as we like to call him, PP,
Papu de PP.
Papu de PP, Paku de PP. All right, inside joke. For Tyler, it is Stephon Diggs. For John, it's Jamar Chase. For Evan, it's Tyreek Hill.
Okay.
What tight ends?
No tight ends. No tight end.
Kelsey's
You
been
chose
passed
not to be
around.
mean. You chose
Kelsey,
not to be mean.
yeah,
Honestly, we probably could have gone Trey McBride for Adrian.
yeah. But the thing is, would you rather have Trey McBride for 2.5 seasons or Bijan for 2.5 seasons?
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's the answer to Bijan, but Trey McBride's still on his roster.
It's true.
So
That is true.
you can kind of keep going into infinity on that one if you want to say, like, would you rather have Bijan for 2.5 seasons or Trey McBride for 75 years because Adrian will never remove him from his roster?
Who knows? Who knows?
So, all right. All right. The next segment that we're going to be doing is buyer, seller, stand pat. And I've actually created the Yaney market scale system to judge whether or not you as a team should be a buyer or a seller. So here's how it works. You're going to get a score of 1 through 5. You get a 1, you need to sell early, often, as much as you possibly can. You just need to be a seller. If you get a 2, you are an opportunistic seller. You're not necessarily trying to get everything out. Nothing's on fire. But if someone comes in with a halfway decent offer, you should probably sell. If you get a 3, stand pat. Okay, just be where you are, stand pat. Don't worry about trying to make a move or offer a move or whatever. Just be where you are. And if a great trade comes your way, then, take advantage. Number 4 is an opportunistic buyer. This is think Tyrone Tracy. Probably not going to be an awesome asset after this year, but given he's on Dallas's team right now, if you're that piece or two away from being a real contender, it's a good idea to be somewhat aggressive towards that kind of player. And number 5 is buy, buy, buy. In the same way that you need to sell, sell, sell. If you're a 1, if you're a 5, it's time to buy, buy, buy. Your job is to go out there and fix your roster because whether it be you've won a surprising number of games or you find yourself in a position where you like your long term outlook and just happen to have more picks than you have any right to have, go out there and make a big move. Be bold. Don't wait for opportunities to come to you. Make your own. So I've given every single member of the league that scale of 1 through 5. And we're going to work through them. And Mac is going to respond and let me know if I'm being crazy giving the number that I'm assigning. Mac, you up to speed?
Yeah. Whenever there's a 5, are you going to sing the Backstreet Boys lyric?
Baby, bye, bye, bye. No, that's the only time I'm going to do it on this
All right.
podcast
All
that I
right.
know of.
You going to make a TikTok about it?
I am absolutely not going to make a TikTok. I've done
Oh,
too many
okay.
of those. All right. So jumping into it, we're going to go top to bottom. So our highest ranked team right now is Matt. I've got him at a 4, opportunistic buyer. Matt is famous for coming in and saying he needs one more piece. He feels that piece away. And he has gotten a lot of flack for it. However, in recent weeks, I think some people have started to come around and maybe see, maybe a little bit based on his matchup with me 2 weeks ago, like, hey, maybe you are a little bit more prone to needing that one more piece than people originally thought. You don't need to sell the house, but try and find that one more trade for an elite piece.
I think I agree. I think, yeah, I think I agree. He definitely could use it's such a trope at this point, but it's so true. He definitely could use like one more Tyrone Tracy, and I think he's feeling a lot better. But the price has got to be right. I think if he rolls with what he's got, he's still a clear front runner, and he's not in danger of missing the playoffs. Like he's 6-2. Like there's no risk of even if your team's awesome, just having some bad luck down the stretch and just being the odd man out. He doesn't have that risk. So yeah, I think 4 is right where he should be.
Yeah. And in case anyone's listening to this way down the road, Tyrone Tracy really is a perfect measuring stick. It is someone that has half a season of relevance left in them. Because when Cam Scatterbo comes back, he's the presumed workhorse in that backfield. So if you have Cam Scat or if you have Tyrone Tracy, are you wanting to sell him? Are you, if you don't have Tyrone Tracy, do you want to buy him? How you feel about him with relative to your current roster tells you where you are 1 through 5. So next up, we have Ethan. I've got him at a 5. I've got him all the way at a 5. I think that he, kind of like myself in the second year of the league, I had the 8th highest points scored. So only 2 teams were worse than me scoring points on a weekly basis, and I was tied for the best record. I finished the season 9-5. I just kept falling backwards into wins, but my roster didn't deserve those wins. And so eventually I went out and like I got Joe Burrow. I think I made a trade for a receiver or something. But I made some trades to be like, hey, if I'm going to be in the playoffs regardless, I might as well be competitive in the playoffs. I think that is in one way or another kind of the situation that Ethan's in. He has won more games than anyone thought he would at this point in the season. He's 6-2. He needs to capitalize on the fact that he is in a situation that he's got really like a 3-5, 4-4 roster setup right now, and he's 6-2. Go out and make some trades, sell some draft picks, do what you need to do. Capitalize on the fact that if you push really hard, you could get a buy. And anyone knows that they've been in this league long enough, you can win in the playoffs out of nowhere if you set yourself up for it.
It's interesting. I think Ethan's one of the hardest ones to rate. Um, yeah, I don't disagree with your logic. I get it. I think he's more of a 3 for me though, I'll be
Okay.
honest.
You think he
Because
should
I
just
think
stand pat?
I think he's a stand I well, we know he's probably going to stand pat. Um, but okay, so my here's my thought process. Like when you look at his roster, it doesn't feel like it's 6-2, but it doesn't feel like it's on the same level as Matt or myself or Will or yours or you. And I think he's probably mixing it up with Caleb and Tyler. Um, he's through his worst buys at this point. Um, I guess my thought is like, what is it going to take for him draft capital wise? Because he's not trading his young studs, right? Like, there's no he has it has
Sure.
to be draft capital, right? It can't be. I don't think he has any like usable young pieces to trade to get like talent now. So it's got to be draft capital. And it's just what does he need to get like how much draft capital would he need to give up to get to a point where he's just on the same par, on the same level as four other teams? Like Ethan won a
Yeah.
title by just being carried by two awesome players. And not, I mean, it's very unlikely that it happens again, but like he could just be carried by um maybe Genty figures it out, but JSN and like another running back who catches fire. Um, I think Tet probably gets better as the year goes on. I just feel like it's his choices are like sell out and give up the future to get to the point where he's like on the same level as other people, or stay where he's at, make the playoffs because that looks like a pretty good like even if he does nothing, he's probably a playoff team just because he's 6-2 with five to go. Um, like if he does nothing, he probably makes the playoffs. And I think you just hope that you get lucky and then you still keep your first and second and 26 and 27 to build on this core.
I hear that. I hear that. But let me toss you this. Let's say he packages a Tet and a first. So we're talking about like a stud young receiver, potentially down the road, plus a first round pick of his own. For again, you said it, it's going to be hard for him to miss the playoffs at this point. So you're looking at pick 5 at the absolute worst. You package those two picks together, and you go over to say an Adrian and say, "Hey, here is these two great young pieces to help rebuild your situation. Give me Trey McBride and give me, I don't know, Xavier Worthy. Toss stuff at
Um,
him,
sure.
make a real upgrade."
Yeah, I mean, if you can get that, maybe do that. I mean, Worthy and Tet are kind of a wash, I think.
Okay, maybe take those guys and go over and say, "Hey, Trey McBride."
So I guess what it comes down to is like, does he offer a first for Trey McBride? I think he would do that. I don't think Adrian would do that. That's the thing.
I'm
It's like Trey
I'm
McBride's
saying
going to
Tet
cost more than a
plus a
first
first,
for
Tet
for
plus a
just
first,
Trey McBride.
or an auxiliary piece, but like genuinely make an aggressive push. And how far is he out of it at that point?
It's just if he trades Tet, he's got to like Tet's one of his pieces he like can't afford to lose.
His receivers right now are Devonta Smith, Ted McMillan, Jalen Waddle, JSN, DJ Moore are probably his relevant ones. And then from a running back perspective, he has Genty and ETN. You'd be putting a lot of faith in Jaden Reed coming back and doing, and he has Bucky Irving too. So he has the pieces to theoretically lose a receiver.
That's true. I think okay, maybe you could argue me into a four. I just don't. I think if he find, I think he should be opportunistic. You can argue me into a four. I just don't. I
I think
think
you got to
he's
take
just.
advantage.
I don't. It's weird. To me, it's like if you're 6-2 and you have a you. I don't know. I think we approach the playoff race a little differently. Um, I'm much more likely to stand pat than sacrifice the future if I feel like I'm a for sure playoff team. Um, but that
Yeah.
I
Okay.
it's
I can
hard.
hear
I don't
that.
know. Ethan's tough because it's like when your record is so much better, when your record's so much better than like your points scored, it's like, do you trust your record or do you trust your points scored? I guess.
Here's
Um,
really where my thought process ultimately lands. his draft pick is probably not going to be awesome this next year. And if you look at the guys that are available in this upcoming draft, yes, there are some guys at the top, and there will always be more emergers. We're like half to 2/3 of the way through the college
That's
season.
fair. Yeah.
If you feel like, I've heard some people say, I don't know if I'm there or not, I haven't done enough research, but if you say there are four guys in this next draft that are really worth having, and I don't care about anyone after four, and you know you're going to make the playoffs, therefore you cannot have one of those guys, what's the harm?
Or I approach draft strategy differently than that. I don't, but I probably should factor in the strength of the class more. Um, but that's fair. I just think maybe she should be maybe he should be five. I think if he stands pat, he has a good chance of just lucking into a title if JSN is just awesome the whole year. Um,
That
and
only
I don't
goes so
know.
far though, because we've seen that exact thing with Tyler. Like Jonathan Taylor's been crushing it all year. He's 4-4.
I guess my thought is if you're Ethan and you know you've won a title by doing nothing in the past, why change that? It sounds harsh, but like I mean, I can't blame him for being like, yeah, like why would I trade my first if like my team is
Yeah,
6-2 as it is, and I don't know. I can't really blame him if he thinks that way.
sure, sure. I've got him at a 5. You've got him at a 3. I can hear it. I can hear it.
I think you've convinced me to go four.
Okay, I've moved the needle ever so slightly. Next up, we have your, my, and our favorite Jonathan Brooks owner, Will. Due to that Jonathan Brooks trade, Will has no draft capital over the next two drafts. It's funny how many parallels his and my team have. We just have nothing the next 2 years, and as a result, he doesn't have a ton outside of player assets that he can move, which gets tricky because when we're talking about teams that are in the playoff hunt that have elite players, they don't really want to move those elite players. And when we're talking about teams that are outside the playoff hunt, they don't really want to trade their guys for something other than a pick, which Will doesn't have. So you get in this weird situation really quickly where there's not really a good answer on how to progress. And therefore, I've got him at a 3. Stand pat. Don't force anything. Don't try and be like poking and prodding on the trade market. Just sit, wait, and if something stupid good comes your way, take it. But don't try and be an active player in the trade market when you are kind of coming with a disadvantage in the first place.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I think the only exception is quarterback. I
Okay.
think he could potentially try to go get Mahomes from Dallas.
Okay.
And it may not be a draft capital trade. Maybe it's like a young piece. Like, um, like he's got more like flex positions players than he really knows what to do with. Like he has an embarrassment of riches right now. Like maybe you like he probably won't ever do this, but like Keon Coleman, Marvin Harrison Jr., Tucker Kraft, um, yeah, I mean those three guys, maybe even Jonathan Brooks, crazily enough. Like those three guys are like super good young assets, but they're probably not immediately helping him win a title this year. So like maybe you dangle like a Keon Coleman to Dallas for like Patrick Mahomes. Like maybe you offer like Bo Nix and Keon Coleman for Patrick Mahomes. Like I don't know if Dallas would do that, but like you give him a young quarterback who could be really good the next 10 years, but isn't really necessarily balling out this year, and then you give him like a Keon Coleman or a I mean I don't a Tucker Kraft or someone like that who you know Tucker Kraft he's probably never going to trade, but I think Keon Coleman's like a perfect example of a guy like that we maybe long term believe in, and Dallas can be like yeah like another lottery ticket, sweet. Um, I don't know. I think that would be his only avenue. So
Sure.
maybe he is a 3, but I feel like he could definitely reasonably get an upgrade at quarterback, um,
Yeah.
relatively cheap.
Yeah, I think that those smaller, dinkier trades of like, hey, I'll give you. I mean, look at our trade. Perfect example. Jordan Love and a third, or Jordan Love for Jared Goff and a third. It's like, hey, I'll give you this long shot pick that has some tangible value to it, plus the quarterback that's in a similar ish range for your quarterback that's a little bit of an upgrade. I feel a little bit more stable in my situation. You get a guy that you feel similarly about plus a pick, and we move on. Like I don't know if that's necessarily what I'm fishing for here, but
Sure.
um, I think when you look at Will's roster, there may be an inclination to go, oh, there's not a ton of special here. There's a lot of good, maybe a little bit of great, but there's not a lot of special. Um, and I need to go fish for special if I want to compete this year. Don't fish for special.
I will say, if he gets Mahomes, he's the number one quarterback right now. That's
Okay,
different. Like if he goes and get Mahomes, like that's a big move.
sure, sure, and we'll see. But um, I've got him at a three. Just bide your time. You know
I
the
agree with
nature
three.
of this
I agree with three.
nature of this thing. You'll get your picks back eventually, just via time, and start making moves then. Okay, next up, I've got you, Mr. Mac White. I've got you at a four, and I know you're
I'm
going to disagree with
surprised.
that value.
I thought you were going to have me at five, to be honest.
No, I've got you at a four. I think that you've got good starters. I think you've got good depth, and much in the John Yaney world of thinking, if everyone's healthy, you've got a really, really darn good roster. And at a certain point, waiting for that health to come is not per se a bad strategy. That being said, I think you've got a lot of old running backs, particularly Kamara is starting to show his age. You've got some kind of unfortunate injuries. And if you really want to make every year your year, this might be a good time to go try and cash in a little bit on that store of picks. Now, is there a world here where you do absolutely nothing and then just steamroll your way to a title again? Yeah. And just looking at your roster, yeah, it's entirely possible. So that's why I don't have you at a five, is because kind of like what you're talking about with Ethan, you could do absolutely nothing and still make it happen. But I would probably make some semblance of a move if I were you.
Yep, I fully agree. Four is fair. It's just hard. I just have such a hard time moving firsts. Um, yeah, it's weird. I don't this is gonna sound bad. I don't want anyone else to get hurt, but I think I would experience some clarity if another core piece got hurt, because then I'd be like, okay, time to move first.
Yeah,
Like I'm obviously worse off, but like right now it's so hard because like Ayuk reasonably could come back. I don't know if that's stupid of me, but I feel like it's probably stupid of me. Yeah,
I
it's
think
stupid
counting
of
on
me.
it is stupid, but
But I mean, like,
believing it's a
there's a chance he
possibility
comes.
is
I mean,
not.
that's I guess, like, I'm looking for like opportunities on my roster to even like potentially gain another piece I could start. And I think he's about the only one. Um, yeah, I honestly kind of maybe regret trading Vidal. I don't know. I guess that he had a shelf life for sure. Um, but no, I agree. Four is fair. It's just finding the right deal, which is exactly what a four is.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Opportunistically buying.
yeah,
You would be a smart buyer in the Tyrone Tracy sweepstakes.
yeah, I'm kind of bummed out we're talking about it because maybe that increases the market. Maybe I should have been a little more sly earlier this week or something about it. But it also requires me trading with Dallas, which is really hard. We don't do it.
He's a bit savvy with this kind of stuff.
Good. He's
Uh,
good. And I think we've
I
done like one trade ever and he won it for sure.
Yeah, I reached out to him early in the week and just said, "Hey, Tyrone Tracy, what are you thinking?" And I thought I was being so smart because I thought I was what was going to happen is like, "Hey, it's a half a season piece. You know, maybe not a ton of people were willing to go all in on it." So many people thought the exact same thing. So he's playing his hand correctly,
Yeah.
which is a bit of a refreshing thing, seeing how other people have handled trades this season.
We should get Dallas
Um,
on the pod and he can formally announce
definitely.
that Tyrone Tracy is on the block.
Can you imagine if Dallas somehow enables this into like some semblance of any percentage of the Bijan trade? Like
There's no way.
Adrian got three firsts and Matthew Golden because he just got tired of dealing with it, and he somehow talked his way into getting like a first round pick for Kyron Tracy.
Oh man, that'd be something.
Okay.
Dallas wouldn't shock me.
He's good at this, man. He's good at this. Next up, I've got myself. I'm just happen to be next on the rankings. Fun fact: I would be in the playoffs if the season ended today.
This is true.
But I have myself at a three. Very
Yeah.
similar logic to Will. I do not have any of my own picks. A lot of my pieces require a lot of faith to make any kind of deal for. And while I think I've got some guys who are starting to be like worthy of rostering on my bench, it'd be a totally player asset trade. I cannot trade for picks, and I don't have picks to trade. So just sit, wait, and if anyone sends me something bonkers, I'll think about it.
I agree. There's not your roster's so simple, John. There's not much to talk about.
No, there isn't. It's wow, your starting roster is really good. Oh my gosh. And that's about
Yeah.
how you talk about my roster. Next up, unless you have anything else on me.
No.
Next up, we have Tyler Tyquan Bradshaw. That is his real middle name. Look it up. But Tyler, I've got as a three as well. Honestly, I was leaning two on this, but he's 4-4. That's a really hard place to be this point of the season because yes, he is technically in the playoffs if the playoffs ended today. He's in the playoffs barely. His tiebreakers are probably not awesome, and he is not looking at the world's greatest roster outside of Jonathan Taylor. So I want to say that he should be a seller because you could probably get a king's ransom for Jonathan Taylor half a season after you traded for him. Same time, I mean, a few things swing your way, a few key injuries happen. And he's in the playoffs. And again, you never know what can happen if you make it to the playoffs. So I've got him at a three. Wait and see. 2 weeks from now, you should have more clarity on whether or not you should be a buyer or a seller.
Three is fair. Three is fair. You know that with Tyler, he's either going to be a five or a one, though, because no matter what he's doing, he's
Eventually.
trading.
I think eventually he will be, but I think he needs to find out. I think he needs to take a second, wait, and find out whether or not he should be a buyer or a seller.
So here's the problem. He has 0 picks next year.
That hurts.
And he has his first and 27, but no seconds and no thirds. So, like, he has 1 pick in the first 3 rounds in the next 2 drafts.
Certainly makes it fun.
It's a first round pick in 27, which you probably don't want to trade your own first in 27.
No. Not the way things are going right now. No.
So I think 3 is right. It's weird. I think like the way his roster's built and his upcoming schedule, like he should be a buyer, but I don't really think he can be. With the picks he has, because he's going to get Hampton back. Well, I guess he already has Vidal, so that's kind of a wash. But I like his roster's, I think, a little better than you're giving it credit for. But yeah, I think his only avenue would be to trade like a young piece. And I don't think he probably wants to do that because that young piece would,
yeah,
it'd be Pearsall or Hunter, which I don't think he's going to do that.
If you had to guess without looking at his roster, who his 3rd to 5th best players are.
Without looking at his roster, well, I just looked at it, so it's kind of cheating.
Okay, but like, who would you say his 3rd to 5th best players are?
Okay, well, so one is JT, 2 is Rice.
Yep, those are the obvious ones.
Three is probably, well, it's Hampton. So we're not counting Hampton at the moment.
I think you should count Hampton.
Okay, well then Hampton is 3. I guess like the Chargers backfield either way is 3. Flowers is 4, and Flowers or Higgins is 4, and those are both really good. So like Sutton 6, like that's a pretty deep team, John.
I feel awesome about playing this team in the playoffs if I got to.
See, I don't know. I feel a little differently. Um, but we'll see, I guess. Yeah, I mean, point scored, it doesn't look good, but it just got Rashi Rice back, so that makes a big difference.
I mean, I don't want to
Um,
just sit here and make fun of Tyler or anything. Like, I think that if he's a few moves away from like being a genuinely awesome competitor, I don't per se know how he makes those buys versus like he has some pretty easy avenues to selling. Um, I don't know if
it's a
I,
definition of a 3, John. You're right, though.
yeah, I don't know. Come playoff time, looking at some of the behemoth rosters that we have, I feel so good about playing this one.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Next up, we got Evan. I got Evan at a 4. Evan made a pretty what's more than 360? 540 on his roster this season, where he
Yeah.
went from winning a title to being one of the worst outlooks for the future in the league to selling all the stuff for draft capital to then immediately trading it all for Bijan and Tyler Algier. And kind of in this loop-de-loop of like player assets that he's done, he has lost a lot of the depth that you need to win, but he's gained all the type and talent you need to win. And so he is in need of depth. He is in need of a couple more quality worthy starters. And I'm not totally sure where he's going to get them from. But if he can manage to finagle one or two more starter worthy players onto that roster with the top end talent that that roster has, I think it's a pretty scary group. And given he's traded all this, you know, picks to go get all that, find someone to replace Dowdle, find someone to replace Shaheed. You could be, excuse me, you could be looking at something pretty scary.
He's got AJ Brown on his bench.
Okay, okay,
So
fair.
really only needs to replace, assuming
Dowdle.
AJ Brown's healthy, it's just Dowdle. Maybe Montgomery. Montgomery's been maybe he's been better than I thought. He's just been bad the last 2 weeks. Um,
Montgomery's more of like a complimentary Gibbs play where it's like if Gibbs doesn't go insane, then Montgomery is going to have good
I guess
stuff.
it's insurance. It's I suppose. Yeah. No, I think I agree with you. I think yeah, he actually has more draft capital than I was expecting. He's got both his firsts. He's got all of 27 intact. Actually got an extra third.
I'm going to
Um,
propose a trade. I'm going to propose a trade.
Evan.
Evan and Will.
Okay.
Will, you've got the depth to offer to be able to lose some. Evan, you've got Jalen Hurts and Justin Herbert. Toss a quarterback for a startable player.
That's fair. That's good. That's another good option. Yeah. No, that's good. I'm curious. Yeah, that they'll have to talk that through. I'm not sure how much Will believes in Bo Nix. Um, you know, I'm sure the public opinion on him and fantasy is pretty varied. Because he's looked horrible this year and he's looked like amazing. He's looked all over the place. So it kind
Yes.
of just depends on how you feel. But I don't want somebody who's all over the place. Like I don't want somebody who is going to put up 4 points in the playoffs. I don't want that. I want somebody who's going to guarantee, which is what you were saying. I want somebody who's going to guarantee me like 18 to 25. Like that's,
Yeah.
um, yeah. No, they should talk that through. Let's see if we can get something going.
There's just no good reason to have Justin Herbert and Jalen Hurts when you have depth problems. You can use one of them to fix that.
I agree. I agree.
So next up, Caleb. I've got Caleb at a 2. I think Caleb could take some time to sell.
Yeah, I think especially those older pieces. Been a tough year for him. But I'm sure he'd agree with you. I think he's in that mindset as well. 3-5. He's going to have to push hard to get there. He's got a lot of older assets. Um, yeah, I think he's a 2.
Yeah.
I think if he
Uh,
loses this week, he's a 1.
yeah. I think we're close to it. Maybe 2 weeks, but we're close to it. Adrian and Dallas, I'm going to wrap up in a bow together because they're pretty obvious. They're both ones. Sell everything that's not nailed to the floor or in their first 2 years in the league. Just get rid of everyone.
Yep.
Like Quinshot Judkins, Xavier Worthy. If I'm Adrian, I don't feel I need to move Kyler Warren and Mecca Ibuka. Like I don't feel a need to move those guys, but uh, you get a good offer, maybe just like it
Big fella is a good opportunity for someone to trade for.
exactly another Tyrone Tracy, if you will.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's where I've got everyone. Just a quick recap. Matt's a 4, Ethan's a 5, Will's a 3, Max a 4, I'm a 3, Tyler's a 3, Evan's a 4, Caleb's a 2, Adrian's a 1, Dallas is a 1. All right. Let's jump into picks for this next week. Just for everyone's knowledge, this next week we are projected to see Adrian lose to myself. We are projected to see Tyler beat Caleb, Matt beat Will, Evan beat Ethan by a lot, and Mac beat Dallas. I feel like we have a couple of chalk matchups in there, but let's go
Last
one at a
week's?
time. No, this is next week.
Okay, sorry. I thought you were doing a recap of last week.
Recap: we went chalk.
Yeah, we both
We
went chalk. Well, how many did we end up getting right if we went chalk?
I think I don't know off the top of my head. I'll throw
That's
it in the
fine.
group chat after this, but we said the same picks across the board. So I'm still up by one game. Myself versus Adrian. Here's a fun fact. Right now, I'm projected to win by 70. Adrian has 3 guys he needs to move into his roster: Kyler Murray, um, Trey McBride, and then whoever's replacing Judkins, assuming he doesn't play. If you move all 3 of those guys into Adrian's roster, I'm only projected to win by 40. I feel like this is a slam dunk.
Yeah. No, I agree. Not much to talk about there. What would it take for Adrian to just somehow win?
Uh, a few weeks ago, I think it was week 3 in the same week, like Joe Burrow got hurt, CeeDee Lamb got hurt, and then because Joe Burrow got hurt, like Jamar Chase had a bad week, and then like trickle down effect, trickle down effect, trickle down effect. Other guys had down weeks, and like I'm randomly losing games I shouldn't lose. I think it would genuinely have to be like someone puts out a hit on the former LSU receivers.
Hear me out, John. Hear me out. Here's Adrian's angle. Your guys just have like 11-point games. Okay.
Sure.
They just have 5 catches, 60 yards. Just they all kind of have a bummer game. Okay.
4 games. Yeah.
Um, and then the Colts boat race the Steelers, and Warren doesn't run the ball. Okay. But then here's where Adrian maybe could pull off a miracle. The Cardinals play the Cowboys this week. So you get Kyler and you get McBride, and they just have this massive.
Shootout.
And somehow Lamb's the only one who doesn't do anything, and like Trey McBride just has like a career game because Dallas can't guard anyone, and that stack gets him 60 points.
See, but still, even then, like you still have to assume that there's like 80 points being scored total in the game, and Lamb's doing none of it. I think it would have to come down to injuries. Like it's, I'm
Okay.
not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying at a certain point, like someone's got to have to lose a knee.
Uh,
All right, Tyler versus Caleb. This is the battle of guys who might sell. Uh, Personally, I'm probably leaning. Ooh, I might hate myself for this one. I'm leaning Caleb on this one. Um, and the reason for that is kind of what we talked about earlier. I think there's the capacity to be special on one end versus the capacity to be very average on the other. And so I'm going to take the upside pick.
so glad you did that, John, because Tyler's the correct answer.
Oh boy.
Um, it's well, A, his roster's better this week. A. B, B, you're not factoring in the possibility of Caleb literally selling between now and the matchup.
I'm going to be so mad if that happens.
It's a real possibility. And
Yeah.
I've got Tyler, and I'm so glad you went Caleb because I think this is the one that puts me up tight with you.
Okay. We'll see where
Yeah,
we
I
go
don't
from there
know.
then.
He's got a really good lineup this week. Like his worst starter is Travis Hunter, who has been really good since week 6 or something.
Yeah. Marquee matchup of the week: Will versus Matt. Will still needs to set his lineup, and he's gonna not have Saquon, and I guess Rashad White is whatever. But I think I'd be remiss to ever vote against Mac or against Matt. So I got Matt.
Yeah, Matt's got a pretty strong week. He doesn't have very many buys. Um, yeah, McLaurin's back. Shakir against the Chiefs seems good. Bowers is supposed to play, supposedly. Yeah, it looks like Matt's back to full strength for the most part. And he's got Jacoby Myers though. Ooh, McCaffrey against the Giants. Ooh, and Lamar Jackson against the Dolphins. Yeah, yeah. I agree. We'll go Matt. I think this feels like a weaker week for Will.
Ethan versus Evan. Funnily enough, this is 100% due to bye weeks. Not and lost rosters not being set. Evan's projected to win by 53 points.
See that.
Um, you throw a Genty and an ETN in, and that pretty much, I mean, it gets you close to chalk eventually. But I'm going to go with Evan on this one. I'm not sure Ethan makes the playoffs.
He will make the playoffs. He will make the playoffs. His he will make the playoffs. It's his schedule the rest of the year is not horrible. He's got through most his buys already. Um, he'll make the playoffs. Yeah. But this week it's tough when you actually put in the players. When you actually put in the players, he's going to be at one. It's actually like dead even if you plug in the three starters. Like it's 134 for Ethan and
Okay,
133.6. Um, I, I'm gonna go Ethan.
sure.
I really
Okay,
am.
that's another split.
Yeah,
All right,
Ethan. Yeah.
let me set you up for the greatest slam dunk of all time. Mac versus Dallas.
I'm gonna go with me.
I'm also going to go with you. Mac, do you have anything else for our viewing audience?
No, I'm good. It's been a pleasure, John.
As always. And to our viewing audience, as always, let the best man win.